it's actually a professional organization, nationwide professional organization called the Association of Women in Sports Media. We call it Awesome. Um, and they started doing student chapters, so there are about 24 young women, a handful of young men who are in this group. We Skype in guest speakers every week, do some workshops, kind of some social things too.
Well, there's a lot of programs on campus that deals with sports organizations and sports broadcasting, and there never really was a focus for just women. And this was something new and something OU was trying, and we've actually had a lot of people and even some gentlemen have come and joined.
When I knew it was about women's journalism, I had a good feeling there'd be a lot of women in the organization, and a guy like myself, I have no frets around women. So I figured I would be outnumbered pretty well, but here at Ohio University, us men are outnumbered every single day. So I'm pretty used to it, and I can't say I mind it at all.
Molly set up this organization for us, and it's at a national level that we're joining. And she's just so much fun. I knew about her and I never really came in contact with her until this year. And she did so much in her career, and she just did everything. From beat writing to newspaper writing to online writing, and then she even had her own personal blog and whatnot. So that was a big thing. She motivated me to do a lot more for myself in sports media.
When I was in the newsroom, I was the only woman in sports. And you're the only one in the press box typically, or maybe one or two more. And it's not. I never had any bad experiences, but sometimes if you want to talk about things that, it's not like you're gonna lean over and tap your competitor from the, competing newspaper and talk about things.
I thought it was a really good opportunity to network, to meet people. I know oftentimes, usually every week, they Skype different professionals, and you Skype them, you tweet at them, they follow you, you follow them. It's just that kind of little thing. And then next thing you know, it's a connection for you. So somewhere down the line, when you're looking for a job, you've got that connection.
Encouraging, I think, was the first event I went to was the women's basketball practice, and that's when I saw a lot of the ESPN commentators I always see, and Debbie Antonelli, who we see on ESPN. But more so, I see a lot of the committees. So the U.S. Olympic committees was run by a lot of women. A lot of women were dealing with the practice times, the press times, and even from seeing that, also my own personal experience, I knew that I had to do things for myself to get what I wanted to get those practices, to get those stories out. And you see them do this, and it's kind of motivational. Like, oh, people still have heart. Women like me have heart for what they want to do. So you seeing them in London, being that forceful, being even recognized by the big major sports. Like LeBron James knew this woman. I had no idea who she was, but she did a story on him in London, and she did a story on him back in the States. So they're getting recognized.
Some of the women, the one day when they were at USA men's basketball, they said there was a girl just dressed up to the nines, looked like she was going out to a club in Miami, meeting up with LeBron and D-Wade or something like that. When here she was going to practice. So that was kind of interesting. With the day that I went to practice, I met 3 girls from Arizona State, and I know the one girl was a dancer for Arizona State. So if you can kind of wrap your mind around what kind of girls we're dealing with here. And they, if a player was kind of shooting around, we would kind of leave them be, but they'd go over to them, say, hey, we want to do an interview with you, and then they'd be, walking them back to their seats. So I know, like, James Harden, yeah, he went to Arizona State, but, he was doing interviews with those girls every single day I saw on their page. They had tons of interviews with him, but I definitely think, like, yeah, I could, sit there and BS X and O's with, Darren Williams or LeBron James or whoever, but I don't think that they are as interested in talking to me as they may have been with the Arizona State girls.
And what do you take away from that?
That I have to know my craft. I have to be an expert. Really, people aren't going, these good looks aren't going to get me by forever. So, at some point I'm going to have to be the best at what I do, and I'm going to have to work to get there.
Goals have kind of changed in a way. There's a lot to sports journalism than I thought. I wanted to always be the broadcaster on the field and meet with the teams and the coaches, which I still want to do, but I want to show a side, I guess, not really a public relations kind of side, but showing the mass media side of a team.
I feel lot more young women wanting to go into the field, and you see a lot more women on air, but I sort of still think that the role is marginalized. And where do we see women in sports media right now?
I mean, the Aaron Andrews, Samantha Steele role.
Yeah, sidelines. Yeah, on the sidelines. And I think, Aaron Andrews is in the studio now, but it's still a role where every single, every other shot she's standing up showing off what she's wearing in her hot bod, right? And I still think that that's tough. I mean, some of the women who are, not as attractive, let's say, I think they typically have writing backgrounds and are now on air because they were just damn good reporters. But there are really just a few of them.
Yeah.
So, and I don't see this, some huge change coming in just the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
But as more and more women who are really well qualified come into the field and want to do it, I hope those roles continue to expand.